So you were a dentist in your home country and now you are immigrating to Canada or already immigrated to Canada. You are wondering, how can I start my dentistry career back in this country of Canada? Welcome, you are at a perfect place where you can get some information on how to apply to DDS programs. How can you start practicing dentistry in Canada as an international dentist? In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 main points. Number 1, if DDS university pathway better compared to the equivalency process that NDEB offers if you are an international dentist? Both have their own pros and cons, so we will weigh them both in the part number 1. In part 2 of this video, we will talk about how to prepare for AFK exam, how much time should you give yourself, what kind of scores are good enough for DDS programs, and what if you are not getting a high score and you still want to get into a DDS, which is Doctor of Dental Surgery program. In part 3 of the video, we will talk about each dental school in Canada. We will talk about how many seats are there for international dentists in the bridging programs at Canadian dental schools. I will discuss all the schools including Dalhousie University, University of Toronto, University of Alberta, McGill University, University of Western Ontario, University of Saskatchewan, and University of Manitoba. There is also University of British Columbia, but they do not offer international dentist bridging program, so we will not talk about it. We will also discuss how much is the tuition fee for each university if you want to compare it that way. Do they ask for a bench exam or just interview or both? What kind of IELTS score should you get? And all other information around that. In part 4, I will talk about how can you prepare yourself so that you are ready for a Doctor of Dental Surgery program. How can you prepare for the interviews, what kind of profile they are looking for, and what kind of personality traits and characteristics are required to become a Doctor of Dental Surgery student in Canada or North America. In part 5, which is the last part, I will talk about my life as a mature student in Doctor of Dental Surgery program at Dalhousie University. On top of that, I work full-time at Nova Scotia Community College as a professor. I also have a big house, which I have a big house mortgage for. So what are my plans to pay off that mortgage? How much educational loan I have received from the bank? What other options are there? Can I get some government funded loan? What is the interest rate? How am I planning to pay forward that loan and be debt free after some time? So everything about my plans for my future would be in the last part of the video. If you want to skip to any part, go on the timestamp, pick that section and just watch what is relevant for you, because I know you have to study for the AFK exam and time is running. So all this and much more information right after this intro. Welcome back, this is Sam from Teacher Dentist, and please make sure that you like and share this video with a friend who is interested in this process. Subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell icon so that you know when the next video on this series is going to be released. Part 1 is a comparison between DDS route versus National Dental Examination Board equivalency process. So let's see if we try to work that out on this little guy. So on this side of the screen, let's create a table and work this out. On the left side of the column, we'll put DDS route, and on the right side of the column, I'll put ACJ, ACS route, which is the equivalency process. And we will compare it on 5 different terms: duration, cost, practice prospects, jobs or associate positions after that, and academia or teaching positions. Let's start with the first one, durations. So the DDS route will take around 2 to 3 years to complete, while the ACJ and ACS exam are tricky. For ACJ exam, you will need at least 2 to 3 months of prep for each attempt. You're allowed 3 attempts. Not everybody clear it in the first attempt. So I will give it like 6 to 7 months in average. And also for ACS exam, you need at least 6 months of prep. You might take this exam twice or thrice. Depending on that, I would say average amount should be 1.5 years till infinity. Now that infinity is tricky because I know so many people who have failed in all 3 attempts. Mind you, I'm one of the examples. I gave AFK. I never gave ACJ or ACS, but I did give the first part, which is AFK. In the first attempt, I got 64. In the second attempt, I got 74, which is just 1 mark less than passing marks. And finally, in the third attempt, I put everything I had into that attempt. So I got a 93 in my final attempt, and that led me to be selected by Dalhousie University and University of Toronto for interviews. And finally, I chose Dalhousie University to be my dental school of choice. Second part is cost. Now, cost is again very, very important factor. For DDS route, some of the universities, which we are going to discuss in the next part, can give you the complete education for $60,000, while some other universities take as much as $280,000, which, for example, University of Western Ontario. So good luck with that. If we are talking about ACJ and ACS route, then ACJ exam is not too expensive, but ACS, yes. Each attempt is worth $9,000 of fees, plus preparation is around $7,500, plus around $5,000 worth of equipments that you would need. And if it's multiple attempts, then you have to calculate that cost again and again. I know that a person who has cleared all 3 parts in 1 attempt finished it in $60,000 of line of credit, while some have mentioned $120,000, but not more than that. I don't think anyone has spent more than $120,000 on the equivalency process. So in 1.5 to unpredictable amount of years and in less amount of fees, you can complete the equivalency process, or in 2 to 3 years of time with double the amount of tuition fee, you can go for the DDS route. Let's attack the third point. The third point is practice prospects. So as a matter of fact, you are getting a Doctor of Dental Surgery degree from Canada. So that degree is valid in most of the North America, which includes United States. And it is also more recognized or more respected when you are going for any kind of positions in government, in military, or in other big institutionals or corporates. While on the other hand, ACJ ACS route gives you an equivalency. So you hold your Bachelor's of Dental Surgery degree, like that's the degree that you will have, but you will just have a license to practice dentistry in Canada, and that might not be valid in many states of United States of America, and not acceptable in many government organizations and places which hire dentists like Army Corps and other places. Point 4 is jobs prospect or associate positions. So I would say as a DDS, you have 10 on 10 chances of getting hired, while if you have just cleared the licensing process, you might have 7 out of 10 chances to get hired. The reason is some of the dentists are still not super comfortable hiring an associate who just has equivalency process completed and do not have a DDS degree. So if you go through various job positions which are posted on University of Toronto as well as UBC's website, very commonly you would see that they ask for someone who has graduated from a Canadian dental school. But that being said, 7 out of 10, that means you have a more likely chance of getting hired as an associate and still getting well paid and a great life and a career of your choice. So not bad at all. Last point would be academia. When I say academia, it is mostly related to teaching positions. Let's face it, as a dentist, we all are keeners. We love learning more, we love teaching, and we love research. And all those places brings you to university teaching positions. As a professor or as an instructor, you just have a great reward for yourself. Certainly the dentistry becomes more rewarding for you when you teach it to someone else. So everybody now and then wants to teach in a university, and they want to move in downtown and live a more relaxed life. Maybe your back hurts and now you don't want to practice for some time. You want to go to teaching and take a break from your job. Or maybe you are retiring or planning to retire or sell the practice, and now you are thinking that I just want to go to teaching. I just want to spend few hours in lectures, and after that do some assessments, teach students what I have learned all my life, and just be settled. So for that prospect, so far a person who has just equivalency completed may not be super eligible. So just a food for thought. If somebody is interested in teaching or research in future, a DDS degree would be more beneficial for you from a Canadian university. So that's all for this comparison. Now let's admit it. It is not in our hand. Even though you compare it and you think that, okay, this path is better for me, this is less better for me. Still, in my previous video, I mentioned the same thing. You cannot eliminate any option. You have to keep both options open and keep on working towards both options at the same time. I have seen so many people who just completely deny that I do not want to go to university. I'll stick with my equivalency option. That's not very smart. If you have failed an exam twice, there is a likely chance that you will fail it third time, and after that your attempts are closed. You have already wasted a couple years of your life in trying something. At this point in this country, I strongly believe that your time and your age is more important. As a mature students and as immigrant dentists, it is important for us to celebrate each year of life. Whichever option is available, we should be happy and open towards taking it. Let's go to the next part of this video. This part of the video is about how to prepare for AFK exam. Now, accepted AFK exam is a very important exam when it comes to being selected for any DDS program. All 7 programs listed below will accept your AFK scores as high as possible compared to other applicants, except University of Manitoba. Now that's a perfect place for somebody who does not have a very high score in AFK, because they do mention on their website that any score above 65 plus are eligible to apply for the University of Manitoba. So that option is open for you. Other than that, Dalhousie, the cutoff for year 2020 was 89 marks in AFK. For University of Toronto, I know someone who got accepted with 86 or 85 marks as well. In University of Western Ontario, they are pretty competitive, but they can accept you at a score as low as 84 or 83. In University of Alberta, they are super competitive. It's very popular, so they might ask you for a score 87, 88 or above. 90 plus is always golden. In University of Saskatchewan, they might call you for an interview even if you have a score above 85 something. In University of Manitoba is a super flexible one where the range is from 65 all the way to 90s. I don't know how they select someone, but they have been calling applicants with different kind of scores in AFK. So how should you prepare for AFK? First of all, make sure that you give yourself enough time and commitment. If you are in your home country, for example, if I was in India or you are in your home country, you could actually stop working in your home country, because at least you have a house, at least you have a car, at least you don't have to pay a lot of bills. So that you can just, if you have a practice, then you can give the practice to another dentist, ask them to run it for at least next 6 to 8 months while you prepare for this exam. That would give you the perfect learning environment, because now you can study with full focus. If you are already in Canada, then you have to make sure you have enough cash in pocket or a line of credit. So yes, new immigrants do get a line of credit from CIBC or other government and bank, financial organizations. So if you get a line of credit, it's around $60,000. That would allow you to live in a basement somewhere in Brampton or in Mississauga if you are living in that part of the world, or in Surrey area, in Vancouver, in Edmonton you can find a spot, or anywhere else in Canada. So you have to account for at least $1,500 of rent, some $1,000 on other expenses. If you buy a car, $500 more. So let's give and take approximately $3,000 a month, which makes for 6 months it is around $18,000. $18,000 plus $4,000 to $5,000 for any course that you would join in Canada. So that makes it $22,000 or $23,000 plus your commute, few other expenses here and there. Let's make it like $2,000 more. So $25,000 is what you are looking for next 6 months if you clear your AFK in one attempt. Now mind you, clearing the AFK is different. If you score 77, 78, 81, 84, something like that. You still have a very low chances of getting into a DDS program. While if you score very high marks, then you have more chances of getting into a DDS program. With this $25,000, you are not going to work, you're not going to do any other thing except studying. So your kids need to be taken care of, your cooking, everything needs to be taken care of. So that's why I'm saying this 6 months of preparing for one attempt of AFK will be crucial, especially in this time when there are so many international dentists, competition is super high. So AFK prep is very important. Joining a class or not, that's the biggest debate. I have already mentioned a lot on this. Yes, you need to join a coaching class. Yes, you need a mentor who can guide you throughout the process. Do not go and ask for just notes from someone. They might be good, they might not be good, or how few of people I know, they have literally taken the NDEB release question set, found answer to each and every question with very valid references and citations. If you are able to do that, then you should prepare on your own. If you're not able to do that, you should join our classes and have a study group, have few people around you who are going towards a common goal, and complete your AFK exam. Once again, high score is very important for getting into DDS route, not important for equivalency exam. If you are going for ACJ and ACS after that, anything above 75 is golden. My third part was how many dental schools are there and how many seats are they offering? What kind of tuition am I looking into? What kind of duration am I looking into? So many questions will be answered right here in this part. Let's start by drawing a table on this side of the screen. I will write on the left column schools. So I would write Dalhousie University, University of Toronto, University of Western Ontario, McGill University, University of Saskatchewan, University of Manitoba, and University of Alberta. So Dalhousie University has 4 to 8 seats. In past they were taking 4 students, but now they are taking even 8 students. University of Toronto is taking from 20 to 25 students average every year. University of Western Ontario takes from 10 to 15 all the way till 20 students. They have a big classroom. McGill University is the most amazing, cheapest university, most budget university ever, but they only take 1 or max 3 students per year. University of Saskatchewan take around 1 to 2 students. University of Manitoba takes around 2 to 6 students, while University of Alberta again has a good class size from 4 all the way to 10 students. So these are the number of international students they accept in their DDS bridging program. Dalhousie University, Western University of Ontario, and University of Alberta are 3-year programs. McGill and University of Toronto are 2.5 years programs, while University of Saskatchewan is just 2-year program. The tuition fee is going to be a big factor, but it is going to be out of your control. If you are invited from that school, you are not going to look at the tuition fee of that school. If you got an invitation, you are taking it. So Dalhousie University has a tuition fee of $230,000. University of Toronto has $160,000. University of Western Ontario has around $280,000. McGill University around $70,000 to $80,000, and University of Saskatchewan around $100,000. It can be more or less. This is the number I have checked, but you might find it different. Don't count my word. Do your research as well. University of Manitoba is again around $100,000 for 2.5 years, of course, while University of Alberta now is a 3-year program, so its tuition fee is equivalent to Dalhousie, which is $230,000. Interview is must for all of these programs, while bench test is now only required in University of Western Ontario. Mind you, they also ask you to pay $10,000 for a preparatory course for that bench test right at their own university location. University of Saskatchewan and University of Manitoba are still asking for bench test, while all other universities are not asking for it anymore. Other than all this information, you will need IELTS, so a very high score in English language test. IELTS is the test preferred in Canadian university, so if you're preparing for IELTS, make sure you aim high for anything above 8 or towards 9 max. AFK score should be high. You should have a very solid resume. It should not be all pompous about your dental experience, but it should also talk about your other experiences. What volunteer experience you have. What are the research experience that you have gained in past years, or what is your research interest for future. Finally, some university asks for letter of intent. I wrote one for University of Manitoba, but maybe other universities ask you to write a letter of intent. So that was a brief summary on different dental schools in Canada and what is their requirement and other information related to International Dentist Program. Let's talk about part 4, which is what will make you a good candidate or a good fit for any program. So yes, we are not going to choose program as much as the program is going to choose us. It has to be a perfect mix. And how does the program know that you are a better candidate and not someone else? It's via the interview. Once the interview goes on, they can see right through you what kind of person you are. Are you a person who's super arrogant and thinking that, oh, you are lucky to accept me as a student? Or they are looking at you and understanding that, oh, this person is eager to learn, or this person will contribute to learning of other students as well. They are looking for your attitude towards learning and attitude towards dentistry, attitude towards community. Interview process is the most critical part of the DDS admission process. I have been collecting all this data on interviews from different universities, and I have created a course on how to prepare for DDS interviews. This is going to be amazing because I have collected all the questions that are being asked in different universities. I have spoken with different people in those universities in teaching as well as student positions. In past 6 years, I have been on so many interview panels while working at Nova Scotia Community College in various positions as teacher, as professor, as well as in administrative positions, interviews at Dalhousie University and other universities around me. So I have gained a lot of questions. Through all these years, I have been collecting all the questions, data, which will help me perform best in my interview. And I have all that ready for you in a course for which the link will be somewhere up here or in the description. I'm going to launch that course pretty soon, where I will be preparing you for university DDS program interviews. Once that course is out, the link will be posted somewhere up here or in the description below. So make sure if you get a call from the university, you join my interview course as well. The last point is going to be fun because it is my perspective on the life as a DDS student and my journey towards the DDS degree program. I moved to Canada as an international student. I started with Masters in Health Administration program. I could not take it. It was too much for me. So I switched to Masters in Education program. I did a diploma in adult education, diploma in business administration, medical office administration, project management, and a lot of different courses all this time in past 6 years. So I am in my early 30s. I moved to Canada with my wife and my little 7-year-old daughter. I live in a house. I have a big house mortgage. I have a big line of credit for my DDS program. So how it works is the banks give you a $350,000 of line of credit, which covers your education as well as your living expenses. So I have that line of credit. I have a mortgage for my house. I have all other expenses. Plus, I love traveling. I love exploring new places. I'm always part of some community work. I'm part of some activities that are happening around me. And I'm working full time right now at a community college as a professor in School of Business. So it is difficult. I would not say that it's easy to be managed, but yes, it is fun. Some people think that it is super hardship or it is going to be super challenging. If it is, then you might not do other things. On the other hand, so I am able to juggle some of the responsibilities, and my wife is super supportive that way. So it's working for me. For you, it might be different. But if you work or not, you have money or not, you will get enough line of credit so that you can survive through the dental school education. It is going to be super expensive. It will take us a long time to pay off that debt. But hey, that's what we are here for, to become a dentist. So here we are. This is how it's done. Once I graduate, the salaries are different. Many people are interested in that number. So the number starts from somewhere around $120,000 to $150,000 in the first few years to all the way $200,000 in future. It all depends on, like, it's a very stupid thing if we ask someone a number that how much are you making. Rather, it depends on how productive you are, how many patients can you see effectively, and how many procedures can you actually perform. Are you good at root canals, or you are just sending all the cases for root canals to a different dentist? Then you might not make that much. So those kind of things are accounted for, and that determines how much money you will make as a dentist. I, on the other hand, I'm bad with numbers. I do not understand numbers. All I understand is I'm going to do something that I have really enjoyed in past few years in India, and now I have got a chance to do it again in Canada. I love dentistry. I'm passionate about it. I'm also passionate about teaching. That's why I cannot let either of those go right now. I hope somewhere in future they both meet and I become what I want to be, a teacher-dentist. That's all for this video. If you like it, please make sure you press the like button, share with a friend who is in the same journey or who's planning to do a DDS program in Canada, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel. Bye.